Okay? Okay, good. So when we talk about simplest form of a fraction, it simply means there's no common factors of the numerator or denominator. Okay? So you can't divide it anymore. So 3 over 9, simplest form, well, we can divide top and bottom by 3. So it's 1/3. We can't do anything else. Yeah, that's fine. You can add that. 4 over 16 is simplest form. What's 4 over 16?
Oh, 1/4.
Yeah, 1/4, because you can divide top and bottom by 4. So 4 over 16 is equal to 1 over 4. Alright? So that's just, whenever you do operations with fractions, make sure that your final answer is in simplest form. That's what we're looking for. We want to have it as written in the simplest way. So then addition and subtraction, when adding or subtracting fractions, the denominators must be the same. Okay? So, because you can't really, if you have it out of different things, it's not going to be able to add. It's like if you have one pizza cut up into 6 bits, one pizza added up, cut up into 8 pieces, and we say, well, how many pieces of equal size are there? The one with 6 pieces, each piece is a different size from the one with 8. So you can't really compare or add them together without changing the size of each piece. And so that's the idea between adding and subtracting. You've got to make sure that the denominator has to be the same. And as we spoke about yesterday, the easiest way to get the common denominator is to multiply the two denominators together. Nick, can you write this down? Make sure your margin is ruled. Alright, so you multiply the two denominators together to find the common denominator. Alright, so example here, we've got 2/3 and 3/4. What's the common denominator going to be? What is it? 12, yeah? I'll point it. Alright, so it's going to be 12. So 3 times 4 equals 12. You can condense it in your own words. I don't mind. It says to help you, but it's also available on notes. So you can look it up. If you prefer to go home and print out notes and have a collection and you go through and then use those to summarize, I don't really mind. Okay? But you need to do something with them. All these things are available for you to use, and so a lot of what we do at school is really about, at this stage, I need to push you and make sure you know what you're doing and make it clear. But you need to start, especially in Year 9 and then getting into Year 10, you have to be developing those disciplines of study and making sure that you have habits which are good at home. Because later years, 11 and 12, us teachers, we back off. We have to present more content, we have to teach more things, and so it's less about what you do at home. You have to be in charge of that, and the people who do well are the ones who put the time in. Okay? And you can develop those good habits now that can continue on and help you to do really well later. And then when you go to university, which 80% of Year 12 this last year got a place at university, so that's 4 out of 5 people in this room, and hopefully more, will have the opportunity to go to university. You get the choice. But when you're doing further study, you have to be the one to push yourself. All right? You have to be deciding that I'm going to study, I'm going to revise, I'm going to learn this and make sure I understand what's happening. But at the moment, I'm here to help you to get good habits and to think about it. All right, so if we come back to this, 2/3 plus 3/4. So it's something over 12 plus something over 12. What goes into something? What happens if 3 goes to 12? What happens to the 2? So how did I go from 3 to 12? Times by 4. So what do I have to do to the 2? Times by 4, which is 8. And then times by 3, because I've times the 4 by 3 to get to 12. So I have to times the 3 by 3, which is 9. All right. So 8 over 12 plus 9 over 12. Matt, what is that? Good, 17 over 12. It's an improper fraction, which is fine. Or, like we were doing yesterday, 1 and 5/12. And you can't simplify that anymore. There's no common factors. Alright? Any questions? Okay? Okay, I'll do one more. Okay, 4/5 minus 1/6. What's the common denominator here, Sarah? 30, yeah, because 5 times 6 is going to be 30. Just put that in there, right? 30. Alright, so 4 over 5 minus 1 over 6, something over 30 minus something over 30. Nelson, what goes in the first one? How do you go from 5 to 30? How do you go from 5 to 30? What do you do to 5 get to 30? What's 30 divided by 5? Yeah, so if you have to times the denominator by 6, what do you have to do with the numerator? Yeah, well, 6. So what's 4 times 6? Give it a strange look. You know what it is. You don't have to like shake your head. You actually know Nelson. So you've got to have a bit of confidence. That's good. All right, and get there. Cal. Oh, okay. No worries. Well, can you tell me what would go in the box above this one? So how do you get from 6 to 30? What do you have to times 6 by? How many 6s? How many 6s in 30? 5. Good. So if we times the denominator by 5, we have to times the numerator by 5. So Frankie, what would go in this here? 5. 5. Good. All right. So Mitchell, tell us, what's the answer to this one? That's right, 19 over 30. Can this be simplified at all? Are there any common factors? Yeah, 19 is actually a prime number, which means you can't divide it by anything except by 1 and itself. So 19 over 30. All right, I'll move out of the way and put it so that you people can write this down. I'll go back to the other paragraph up. No, because let's leave a little bit of space. So because if we keep stopping, these videos get to be like 6 hours long, and no one's going to watch.
Yeah, might just have a math day.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to me and not writing down with us? Leave a space and write the example. Just leave a gap in your book. It doesn't really matter. Just if you run out of space, get it in your book. Just leave, how much space do you have? Just leave to the end of the page, start the next page, for example. Yes. That's right. All right. The last one, we've got numerals. We've got the numerals as well as the fractions here. So what we can do is separate it. We can say 3 plus 2 plus 4 over 9 plus 2/3. What's 3 plus 2, George? 5. Now, what do I have to do to 3 to get to 9? Times it by? Like 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So this is actually 4 over 9 plus 6 over 9. Multiply top and bottom by 3. And so we get 5 plus 10 over 9. Yeah, 6 and 1 over 9. Thanks, Nick. I'll have it. When multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerators together and you multiply the denominators together. Just run, or you can condense it. Start practicing taking notes and not, you don't have to write every word. But you multiply the numerators together, you multiply the denominators together. Okay? And that's it. If you're working with mixed numerals, the only difference is you can't have mixed numerals multiplied. You have to only have improper or proper fractions. So you've got to change it from a mixed numeral to an improper fraction and then multiply top and bottom. And the final step, always the same, simplify. Simplify the fraction as the last step. So I'll just do these two examples. 5 over 7 times 2/3, we just multiply them together. So 5 times 2 over 7 times 3, that equals 10 over 21. Okay? You can multiply. Just multiply them together. Multiply the top, multiply the bottom. You don't plus it. You just leave it like that. Okay? The next one. 4 over 5 times 3 over 8. So that's 4 times 3 over 5 times 8, yes, which equals 12 over 40. Any common factors between 12 and 40? Alex, 4. So if you divide top and bottom by 4, what's going to happen? Good, 3 over 10. So we have 3 over 10 because we've divided the top and we've divided the bottom by 4. So that's our final answer. We've simplified it, common factors, and that's it. Just write this down. So this is revision. One more example. This is revision. You've seen this before a couple of times, many times. When, sorry? 10 over 21. Yeah, you can use it, but there's no common factors. Okay? I'm just going to go through this, and then I'll go off. No, so this is where we have to, if it's a mixed numeral, you have to change it to an improper fraction. What's 4 and 2/5? Caitlin, as an improper fraction? Yeah, that's right. It's 22 over 5. 5 times 3 over 5. 22 times 3 is 66. 5 times 5 is 25. So that's the answer. There's no other factors. 66 and 25 don't have any common factors, so that's it. If you wanted to, you could write it as a mixed numeral. So you'd have 2 and 16 over 25. Right? That's what we would do. And the final one, I don't want you to write this down, but just listen carefully. Just note at the bottom here. A whole number, an integer, is actually a fraction with denominator 1. Which means that when you multiply a whole number with a fraction, you just multiply the numerator with the integer, and then what do you do with the denominator? You don't do anything. You leave it the same. 6 times 7 over 8.
6 over 1.
That's right. 6 over 1 times 7 over 8. Which equals 42 over 8. And then you can simplify that. It's got a factor 2, so it's 21 over 4. Okay? So that's the end. So those are the 4 ways. Mixed numerals, you have to change to improper fractions. If it's just an integer, just a number, it actually is that number over 1 as a fraction. You multiply the numerators together and the denominator will just stay the same because it's 1 times whatever the other one is.
So I don't think you call it that.
No idea, I started it. Alright, so I'm going to write the questions up on the board, and then if you ask me, I will go back to any sections you would like to serve. Yes.